Yeah, I definitely can't wait to talk to you about it. Either whether it's on air or anything, because like I said, I'm really learning a learning entrepreneur, man. Like it's like my journey has been weird, but also uplifting because I come from a working man's household to now like just taking this journey in entrepreneurship, and some things I get, some things I'm like, I'm like the average Joe jumping into something that I have no idea about, but
Right.
I'm unafraid, like, you know what I mean, to do it. Like, and also I don't have an ego with it. Like, it's just like, let's go. Let me learn. Let me be coachable. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll definitely talk about that when we're talking, like, like
we are talking.
It's already go?
I'm so natural with it.
Yo, that's lit. That's lit.
I'm so natural with it.
I love
See
it.
how that was?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
No, I like to keep the camera rolling, and I like to like just let it record. But yeah, do that because we'll still do the introductions. Like we'll roll into it. Remember, I can clip it all together too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So that's the thing, man. I really want to like talk about that with certain people, because some people I feel like they feel like, oh, I'm jumping in this and I gotta sound like I know everything. I gotta act like I know it. Like, and for me, it's like, nah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been coachable my whole life. I love that. If anything I can apply myself with is that aspect, is that I remain coachable. And so I never act like I know it all. I love to learn. And at the same time, just expressing how it feels to take this journey. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, that's what it is. It's a new journey for me. And it's so much, it as much as it could be heartbreaking sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, that didn't go how I wanted it to go. Damn. But there's other times where it's like, yo, this came out dope. And no one told me to do this. No one was like, you got to do this today. And you clock in and you do what I say and you make my dream work. You literally made some sort of masterpiece happen from your ambition, your will. And it's an addictive feeling, honestly.
It's hard for me because like I don't understand how other people don't see that. Like I don't understand how you have the opportunity to really shape what your future is going to be. And we talked before about sort of leaving legacy and things of that nature. Exactly. And, for me, that's really big because I have my 3 kids. But at the same time, it's like, well, you can really sort of make your mark on the world. And then the reality is when you're working for somebody else anyway, you're basically making them rich.
Yeah.
You're paying their bills, paying for vacation, putting their kids through college. They got the nice car. You worked for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Facts, man. It's funny, man. When I went at the job, I used to always tell people, like I said, man, when we be working, everybody complaining. It's one of those days where everybody's like, man, I'm tired, I'm hot, I'm like, yo, I imagine whoever it is that owns this company just looking from their yacht, just looking on the camera like, look at these motherfuckers, look at them.
Yeah.
Just being my ants. I love it. Give me another drink. Like, I mean, I just see it. Like, I can just see them doing that. Like, and it makes you mad, but at the same time, the same thing that makes you mad should give you the willpower or help you with the willpower to change it.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I never liked coming up, even at my early 20s, man, like, I did not like to complain and not do nothing about it. Mm-hmm. Because you just, like, and at the beginning stage of that, it's I guess it's okay, and I don't want to ever tell somebody that what they doing is not okay, because that's okay for you. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you know how you sound when you complain about something and you don't actively make moves to change it? It looks crazy. Right. It's like, yo, man, I hate this bottle is right here. Hey, yo, I really hate that this bottle is right here. Bro, I can't stand that this bottle is right here. And I don't just... Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, it's after a while people get tired of it, and you could tell. And people, like, I've literally watched people complain and then look at the other person's expression, like, dude, like, either do something or shut up. Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what you're dealing with that, and you should be telling yourself that, like, either do something or shut up. Like,
you've always been that. So yesterday I was sitting here thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. So how long have I known Josh? You were 18 years old when I met you. You were 18 years old when I met you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so as I was sitting down, just kind of like scribbling and going through that path, I was like, okay, well, let's look at, for me, I'm looking at everything that you've gone through throughout that whole time, from living in the apartment over there. I remember dropping you off at the apartment over there, right? And, you know, you as an athlete, you as a screenplay writer, you as a creator. I mean, you've done some crazy things, but you've been that person who you've always took action. You made stuff happen. You know what I mean? But that sets you apart from that sets you apart from a lot of people that are just in this area. Just period. Because there's also cats that I know, they were the same age as you, had similar ambitions, or at least wanted to do something, but like you said, they didn't take action. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I also had the opportunity to meet your dad. And that makes a difference. But that tells me a lot too. You know what I mean? Because dude is he's a man of character. You know what I mean? And so you can see that reflected in you, you know.
Yeah. My dad, man, and him and my mom. And also, thanks, man, by the way, for like noticing that. Cause like, I have to say thanks, man, because, you know, sometimes a lot of people, you go through life, man, as a person, man, you don't, even if somebody's close to you, you don't always know who sees you doing what or how they see you as, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, sometimes when I hear it expressed, man, I just gotta say thank you. Cause it's like, man, yo, like, I took in my licks and wounds through life, man. It's like, it's these things that we do, and especially, I mean, you can attest to that yourself, because of you doing so many things in your life, it's just, it's not without their wounds, like, you know what I mean? Because some people get to thinking, like, because you do so much, you can fly, but like, just as I'm telling, you know, most of my story, but you know, as to your audience and everything like that, just letting anybody know that hears me, it's like, dude, these things do come with their wounds, man. But my dad definitely was a great influence, and my mom, like, my dad's such a hard worker, such a structured military cat, like, you know what I mean? That's just, you know, he's hand him a wrench or whatever, and he's going to town. He's going hard at it. And my mom, she's so creative. She's always been very, very creative, very, like, what would you say, optimistic about life and just things in general. And, you know, put those two together, you have a hardworking dreamer. And if I could call myself anything, I guess I would say that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just because either one, by themselves, like just a hard worker, then you could become a hard worker for anything, you know, the right thing, the wrong thing. You're just a dreamer, then you're just a dreamer. Like, you know what I mean? You could think of dreams all day, but you never go ahead and put the work in. But to have those two, I think that's the biggest blessing in my life, is to have those two things brought together to make one in me, so that I can go ahead and push hard at the things that I dream up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's take a time out.
Okay.
So this is, what do you want people to call you? You want people to call you Joshua, Josh, Biff, Poindexter?
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Wait. Is that the first time that people will hear those?
No, honestly, it's so hilarious. Like, I ran into one of my best friends, his mom and his sister, like, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Whenever the fashion show was. And she did not know my real government name. She was just like, I'm sorry, it's been years. I've known you for years. But I was like, yeah, I said, she was like, it was Point, right? Because everybody used to call me Point. They did not say my regular name.
Right.
And of course, you know, I mean, from your end, Marcus and Unc and everybody, June, whoever called me Biff. So it's like, I've always had little nicknames, and I love them. Like, that's like, whatever you know me by, you can call me that. Like, although I now, as an adult male in my 30s, I go by Joshua. Like I'll announce my name as Joshua. Like, you know what I mean? But if you know me by something else, I'm like, don't call me that, sir.
Well, I imagine you don't want to go into a room where you are amongst a bunch of professionals and you jump on stage and be like, yo, call me Point. But it might work.
I just don't, like, as a grown man, I don't want to tell you my name is an alias. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, who am I? Like Capone? Like, just like, I would feel like I would have to be like a mobster or something. They call me Johnny Two Tools. Like, you know what I mean? Something like, you know what I mean? I just don't feel like any grown man should go into a set and tell a bunch of other grown men a nickname. Like, I don't know. Like, I felt some type of way about that for like the last 6 or 7 years. Like, I'm just not going to introduce myself with a nickname. Yeah. It just doesn't.
No, I understand. I understand. So, you know, everybody calls me Ty. Mm-hmm. I mean, my name is Tiawan. Everybody calls me Ty. I actually prefer that everybody calls me Ty. And one of the reasons is because a lot of times, strangely, people don't get it right. Yeah, just calling me Tiawan. Yeah. So
what was one of the ones? I mean, I just gotta hear like what do they say?
Tiawan.
Oh my god. Tiawan. Tiawan. What?
Tiawan.
Oh my god. Sheesh.
Love the accent. Awesome. Like I really do. But sometimes it's like for certain people makes sense. Okay, I get it because you know if we look at the alphabet. It would make sense in their culture. But for other people, it's like, how did you get that wrong? That makes no sense. But the reality, though, my mom, the way she spelled it originally, it's Tiawan, right? So really, if you think about it, they're right because they're pronouncing the A. You know, that first A. So whereas a lot of people, they get caught up and they just try to, you know, transform it into whatever they want it to sound like.
Yeah, and see that's what my wife goes through with hers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's easy. Like it's you say it how it's spelled, like, you know what I mean, a bit, but people will still butcher that bad boy. Like your name's Kalila and they'll call her like Kaylee, Kalel, all kind of stuff, bro. But Kalila. But then there's some people that get it right. Like, you know what I mean? So they'll take the extra step and just kind of like, let me just look at this for more than 4 seconds.
If you have the spelling in front of you and you get it wrong, there's a problem. My daughter, her name is Kailani. This lady at her school would call her, when she was in like middle school, the lady would call her everything but her name. But she has it right there. So then my daughter was sort of getting this complex, like, you know, because she's calling her over the intercom and everything. And so then when she shows up and people are looking, they're like, that's not who she's calling. My daughter would tell her, that's not how you say my name. Here's how you say my name. And so I happened to be there one day and the lady called my daughter. You know, I was picking her up early. She goes to call her. I said, that's not my daughter's name. Right. She's like, okay. I pronounced it wrong. I said, yeah, I think my daughter has told you that about 12 times. You've pronounced it wrong. Yeah. I'm like, why would you pronounce it wrong? I just gave you the spelling. I just literally said her name. You heard me say her name. Yeah. And you still said it wrong. She was like, she laughed it off and then said it wrong again. Oh, so you playing games. You playing games. So I took it there with her. I did. I took it there with her. I don't know that I ever seen her again after that day. Going up there, but I took it there with her because this is, first off, you've given her a complex about her name. You're being extremely unprofessional. It's just not okay. These are children.
Because you playing like you think it's funny, like, you know what I mean?
But you're an adult. That's the crazy part. So even as an adult, if you have my name in front of you, regardless of the spelling, I mean, just ask me. You know, my mail lady, she comes and delivers the mail all the time. And I've had interaction like, hey, how you doing? You know, hope you're having a great day. It's hot outside. You want some water? Got some Gatorade, whatever, you know. But she finally had to say my name one time. I was getting out of the car and she was delivering the package and she walked up and she's like, Tiawan? I was like, what? I was looking around. You got it right. I was like, you got it right. She was smiling. She was like, yeah.
Yo. That is comedy. it's a fun moment, man. Sometimes getting somebody that, but like I said, for me, I mean, maybe because, you know, I'm black and grew up black culture. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't see issue with your name per se, but there's been some names that I've been like, man. Yeah. Oh my God, you getting the nickname off top. Off top. And see, the reason why I do that is no disrespect, but like sometimes like I always think of this, and I tell people this all the time. It's hilarious, but at the same time, it's true for me. It's like, we might be in a situation where I got to call you fast, like something about to hit you, like somebody threw something at you. It's like, hey, and I don't want to be like Uzbekistan, like how, like, you know what I mean? Like, your name is way too long. By the time I get to the second syllable, bro, you hit. Like, I don't. And so, like, I mean, saying that to say this, like, I always say, like, my wife, Kalila, I call her Lee all the time. Like, you know what I mean? And it kind of took a turn for its own. But I love her name. I think her name is beautiful. But at the same time, I like saying stuff fast. So I'm going to call you Ty or Lee just because it's like, you know, it's easier. That's way faster. Like,
hey, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I would refer to her as Lee sometimes because you would refer to her as Lee. And I did not want to mess her name up, but I knew it was Kalila. Yeah. It was Kalila. And so when she was training, we were all training, and remember we would go to the hill over there. Mm-hmm. I remember everyone was like, the ladies were like, okay, are we saying her name wrong? We don't want to say her name wrong. We're not trying to be disrespectful. I'm like, nah, her name is Kalila. Mm-hmm. Right. So then they had me second guessing myself, like, wait a minute, am I saying her name wrong? I don't think I'm saying her name wrong.
She don't ever like to go by her government anyway. Like, she tell people her name is Leela, all that stuff. Really? So she don't, like, I hardly ever see her say her full name unless she's forced to. So it's like, she'll be good regardless. She's like, straight. Yeah, she loves, like, well, she doesn't like love the nickname I give her, but it's like it grew on. It's kind of like me. Like I said, it's just like once I get a nickname, somebody gives me a nickname and they're cool with me. Like, as long as it's not like something just like crazy offensive, or like you're literally trying to demean me, like with the name. Like, like, you know, it's like I'm good with it. Like, super good.
So I'm here with Joshua Brown, former boxer, former screenplay writer. Let me do this. Creator of the General Josh comic, Nerdz and Hip Hop community. So you created the Nerdz and Hip Hop community here and bridged the gap with the team on the East Coast, and you all have come together.
Yeah, as much as possible. Yes, definitely. I created Nerdz and Hip Hop as basically a way to reach the community that would be people that or the demographic that would love the comic that I was writing. And then it just became something else because it was like so many different people that love hip hop and love nerd culture. And it just so happened that a lot of those people live on the East Coast because they already have like a whole type of thing about that. Yeah. And me being on the West Coast, I had no idea about that. I didn't know what a blurred was. Had no idea what a blurred was. And I found out that's a black nerd. I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Didn't know that was a thing. And, you know, they educated me and welcomed me into the community, and then started like, you know, really following what I did. And, you know, that's kind of where that started. But it's not where it's going to end. I'm going to keep pushing at that because I love individuality and I love people's uniqueness. And I believe that this is a way to help them express that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't want to go too deep into that because I have questions about that. No, you're good. I have questions about that. But I want to start because the show is, of course, we talk to athletes and we talk about mental health, right? Mm-hmm. And in reality, you've come from a long way. So there's a lot to you. You've come from a really, really, how can I say this? You've had a really complex past. You've had a really complex, very interesting, and you've had hurdles that you've climbed that I've seen with my own eyes, hurdles that you've climbed. And like if there's anybody that's literally a fighter, it's you, right?
Thank you.
But we want to go back to you getting to becoming a boxer and why you became a boxer. Like, how did you end up fighting?
Well, that is a question that is kind of an answer to my life in itself, which is, you know what I mean? Watch me go get deep now.
Remember, Barbara Walters, don't cry. Don't you cry.
I'm not going to cry on this show. I promise you that. But it is somewhat of a realization because somebody finding out, and I say this for real, like somebody finding out that they're a fighter, because sometimes you find out that you're a fighter and it's in so many different ways that this has haunted you, or that this has been following you, that it becomes so real to you, like, you know what I mean? And so when I realized it, or that I had to do something with it, was a really odd moment in my life when I first started trying to do something with boxing. And it's because I realized I had way too much anger inside of me, and my anger was causing me to go down paths I did not want to go down. And if you want me to tell you the story when I first started.
It's up to you.
Okay, no, I definitely will. I have nothing to. I honestly, I hope it helps somebody that's in that same situation. Okay, so I already knew I had some anger issues. Let's throw that out there. Been in a few, like, you know, whatever you want to call it, bar fights, scrapes as an adult, whatever you want to call it. Just nothing. Thank God I didn't at that time get in any legal trouble. But the time I realized that I was driving down the street, man, and this guy, he was on a bike and he was trying to, I guess, go with the flow of traffic. And, you know, I stopped so he can go ahead and go past me. And he didn't like that at all. I guess it made him mad. I guess it kind of messed up his little feng shui or whatever you want to call it of him trying to get across the street. And he just started cussing me out on his bike. And, like, you know, just to let people know in my mental, like, you know what I mean, what really sets me off is me trying to do a good deed for somebody and they turn around and just treat me like shit.
Yeah.
That really infuriated me, bro. So I was like, did he just, like, I was like, so I'm yelling at him outside the window of my car, like, you know what I mean, we're 4-letter wording it back and forth, like, you know, as two grown men would. And basically, it just wasn't enough for me, man. So I had to go ahead and park the car. Like, you know what I mean? And let me tell you where I parked it, though. Like, you know what I mean? You're talking about, like, on the main street, a turn into a big shopping center. I gunned it to there and parked my car right there. Just low-key blocking traffic, everything. And, you know, I'm talking to this dude out the window. He's pretty, like, you know, stocky built, so, you know, I already knew what time it was for that. He didn't seem afraid of me at all, so he, like, spouts out a few more words, and I'm like, oh, okay, you sure about that? You sure about that type of thing? And, like, I used to drive around with a gun in my car, man, so I was about to, like, you know, pop the console on him just because I'm just that angry. And anybody that has, you know, anger issues, you already know, like, you go to another level sometimes without even thinking about, like, all right, dude, it doesn't even cause for that. Like, chill a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're about to throw your life away for nothing. Yeah. And so I thought about it a little bit and I was like, no, I'm just going to get out and fight him. My dad raised me better than that. I don't think he has a gun. So, like, let's make this even. Mm-hmm. So I hop out of the car on him. And now he's getting the wild eyes. And I'm like, all right, it's go time. This dude takes his whole bike, because he has, like, one of those, like, little small Dave Mirra trick bikes or something like that, man. And, you know, he, like, swings it at me totally. And, like, you know what I mean? I slip under it and everything like that. Just duck or move out of the way and everything. And as I do that, he, like, takes the whole bike, tucks it, and he starts running. I'm like, and I'm baffled. So I take a pause for a minute, like, should I chase him? Yeah, I'm gonna chase him. And so I start, like, chasing him, and then, like, a thought just rolled through my head, like, you're about to leave your car in the middle of an intersection for the most part, like, barely coming out of the middle of an intersection with a loaded gun in your car, and now you're about to go assault somebody. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
And then at that moment, I realized I had a super anger problem, and I needed to do something about it quick before I do something that is ultimately going to put me in jail for life. Yeah. And I went and joined the boxing academy like 2 days later in Riverside. I don't even think the place exists anymore. But I went over there and just, and that guy gave me every bit of everything that I needed, because this boxing academy, man, this dude was just a wild guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the first day I'm talking about, he's like, anybody wants to fight, put your gloves on, get in here. Everybody's fighting. And every other gym I went, I didn't know that was the wrong protocol till I went to other gyms later. I trained with you. I trained with other people. Like, I just thought that, I watched a lot of boxing movies, fighting movies. So you're like, yeah, it's gladiator time, baby. Let's go. Like, you know what I mean? And everybody's in there getting tapped. I mean, I'm talking about, I seen a guy's nose just spray blood when he got hit and all that stuff. And it's just like, I mean, literally, maybe 3 of us came back the next day to actually be in the class, and maybe that's what that guy wanted, but I don't know. But that was strange, but that's kind of what got me there. And I was there for that. Like, I literally, in that point in my life, I was like, I either want to kick somebody's ass, get my ass kicked, but I don't care. I need to feel something, and I was just kind of like, I just needed a change, and that it gave me somewhere to fuel that. I mean, gave me somewhere to taper off that anger a bit, because after I did all that, I didn't feel as angry, and I felt like happy.
Why do you think you were so angry? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
I've asked myself that a lot of times. Like, I literally asked myself that a lot, because I was like, why was I so angry? You know what I mean? My parents were cool people. I did grow up in like LA, the Inland Empire, and not the greatest areas, you know what I mean? But the area that we lived was very nice. But I feel like the anger came from like the treatment of being a young black male. And I know some people might be like, that's cliche, and playing the victim card. But nah, I mean, I've literally went to therapy and talked to the lady, because like you don't really unpack all that until you get older and really realize what that was. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I had trouble like dealing with police for and I'm not talking about like I was a kid that was always hanging outside and stealing stuff and everything like that. But I'm talking about, just going home, walking home, man. Like, literally walking home, I got encountered by police unnecessarily, gang members, dude, you name it. Like, you name it. Just unfair treatment that I thought it was something wrong with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was actually even telling my therapist, there was a time when I was even like, I remember I was like 6 years old and going into a liquor store, just buying some candy. Me and my older brother, he haven't made it to the register yet. And I'm handing the store clerk something. He was like, did you steal something? I was like, no. And he was like, you could tell me, did you steal something? And the more I said no, the more angry this guy got. And I was like, what the hell did I do? So until my brother being 5 years older than me, he came up and was just like, dude, what the hell is your problem? Like, you know what I mean? You could talk to me like that, but don't talk to my little brother. He's only like 6 years old. Dude, what's your problem? Like, you know what I mean? And my mom had to come up there and all kind of stuff. And, I didn't think about these things as much as when I got angry, but it's like a bunch of situations like that, fighting to not be a gang member. Like, I mean, I had people literally telling me like, oh, you gonna be from this set, or you gonna do this, or you gonna, like, it was just crazy. Like, you know what I mean, for me. And I guess after a while, I just got tired of it in my own rights. Yeah. And I was just like, and I got tired of being scared, because I used to be scared of gang members. I was scared of this. I was scared of the police. And it's just, you get tired of being scared. And what takes place of scared sometimes is anger. Yeah. It's the bridge. Yeah. That not only, I guess, rolls with your anger, but it makes you feel a little bit empowered. Right. Like, you know what I mean? But still, you don't even understand how much fear and anger go hand in hand, and that's still not healthy.
No, and it's not healthy to have that fight or flight syndrome all the time, where you feel that, or you're in that place all the time because you're out in the community, things that you normally do. But you said something that is very important to me. And a lot of people, specifically in our community, in the Black community, right? And I think a lot of that is changing. And that is, you mentioned having a therapist, right? Because as you said, it's not until you get older sometimes that you learn how to unpack that. It's not until you get older that you realize that you have that there that needs to be unpacked.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And there are a lot of people who they get in their 50s and they haven't even realized, oh my gosh, I got all these things that I've been dealing with. Think about how much life you've lost at that point because of your actions, your distortions, or, whatever, your anger issues, whatever it is. It is beautiful to be happy. It's beautiful to be able to walk outside and not be conditioned to be in fear, to be angry, to be frustrated, and all these things. Because what happens is what should otherwise be this beautiful experience of life, it becomes this sort of tug of war of emotions and just this struggle mentally to find your place in the world or in society. So because you are constantly angry, or you fear walking down the street because you're going to have somebody come around and, you know what I mean, start to, whatever their negativity is, they start to impose that negativity on you. So for instance, you talked about law enforcement. I know that experience. And yeah, you're absolutely right. That causes you to become angry. And then now, and I see it on the road. I just had this conversation with Elijah, with my older son. There's so many people on the road right now. They're looking for somebody to take their anger and frustration on. Right. So, right away, I'm talking to my wife after that conversation. I'm like, yeah, there's like so many people who need therapists, because as much of that it could be, as much as some of that could be mental health, there are also people who get to a point where enough is enough. Right. They're past the tipping point. They've been dealing with the BS so long, they no longer know how to deal. And so now it's rage.
Yeah, that's the thing that, some people don't understand when it's coming to dealing with either law enforcement or life as African American or Black male, whichever one you want to call it. The gist is that you're dealing with people that have had psychological trauma with that type of thing, man. This is not just the fact of, oh man, I don't like the police. Actually, one of my neighbors in the neighborhood I lived in a little while back, he was in and out of jail all his life, and he said the reason why he had an issue with cops so much is because one day they arrested his mom and they beat her, and he said they beat her to the point where blood flew off of her and hit him in his face.
Wow.
And ever since then, he hated police.
Yeah.
And I mean, you hear that story and it's like, yeah, I understand what, like, if somebody hit you wouldn't even have to be a police officer. I don't care if you're a fireman. I don't care if you're an accountant. Like, you know what I mean? You hit my mama. Like, I do have some sort of a thought process now about accountants. Like, it's that serious, like, you know what I mean, to some people. And some people that don't live on that side or understand that, I get it, but do you get it? You know what I mean? And that's my thing to people. It's like, I don't like to look at myself as a victim, like, you know what I mean, in this world or in any type of way. But, and some people will feel like, oh, it's a victim mentality to think of yourself as a victim, but at the same time, to not know or understand where a person's stance is or what they've been through, or know their story completely, and just tell them that they're making something up. It's either you don't care and don't want to know, or you just wish to, like, you just kind of like trying to mentally wish away their pain,
right?
Which won't, either one is very insensitive on your part, and also it's very ignorant. Like, you know what I mean? And the thing is that me personally, I'm not even going to challenge you on that thought process. Somebody came to me and said, oh yeah, I just think you're a victim or whatever like that. I'll be like, you're correct to you.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I agree with that. I've gotten in the habit of when people say stuff, yeah, you're right. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't do me any good to try to challenge you.
Yeah.
Or argue with you or whatever. If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. You're right.
You will never see life through my eyes.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Me trying to force that to you, it's just going to be painful for both of us.
Right.
And I'm not going to allow you to make me walk that path, bro.
Right.
Like, it's just not going to happen because it's like you have to seek understanding. Mm-hmm. You would have to. It's the thing is, I could tell you anything. That could be a one-way street of me just saying something to you and you possibly believing it or not believing it. But for you to want to understand somebody's pain or what they've been through, that's a willful thing. You have to say, yeah, I actually want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Instead of, let's debate because I have a point, you have a point, and I want to say my points and you say your points, but we're not really hearing each other.
Right.
That's when, like, those kind of conversations I could deal without because, like, guess what? Nothing changed. Nothing. I came into there with this. You came into here with this, and we're not even exchanging anything but words so that, you know, we could both just have a feeling of, I think I'm right, and I think I'm right. And we didn't learn anything from each other.
Right.
So it's really a pointless conversation when you get down to it.
Now, so where you are now mentally, you've gone through an entire process to get to this point. Mm-hmm. So what part of this journey did boxing have? Like, how did boxing sort of let you release or deal with or better process some of that anger?
Well, I'm going to tell you, a few coaches like yourself, you know what I mean? And I always say Eddie Estrella, man, like I still talk to him, man. Like sometimes I can tell he's like, all right, I get you, Josh. But I was like, dude, you really helped me. Like, you don't understand. And you as well, Ty. Like, you know what I mean? You really helped me because at a point in my life, I didn't know who I was. And he explained to me, like, you're a fighter. And he was like, and not just in the ring, like within life. He said, you know how I knew you were a fighter? And I was like, how? He was just like, because, you know, that's not something that, you know, I felt like I knew. Like, you know what I mean? He was just like, it wasn't the days that you were like, you know, doing your thing and, you know, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, landing all your combinations right and doing this. It was just the times where I knew you had nothing left and you didn't call to stop it. You didn't ask like, yo, man, I can't do this. Like, cause dude, like at the beginning of my boxing stages, imagine I'm a young 20-year-old and like, you know, I was smoking and drinking. Like, of course, like, you know, I liked all of that. Like, you know what I mean? And I come in on the Saturday sparring sessions gassing out after like round 2, bro. Like round 1, you catch me at that, bro. I act like I had a 5-hour energy. I'm quick, I'm fast, I'm ready, I'm energetic. And but round 2, bro, I'm like a 60-year-old man that has nothing but a cigarette and beer diet. Like it was terrible. You know, I'm gassing out, but like, you know, and I would take my ass whooping, man. Like yeah, I deserved that. And it ultimately helped me stop. I mean, because he would just be like, dude, this dude couldn't do this to me a round ago. I'm running circles around him. Right. Now, all of a sudden, he looks like Roy Jones out here. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just, it's crazy. So, him telling me that, man, and the life lessons I learned through boxing, like I had, the first coach, he told me something, that sticks with me to this day. He said, like, he made me run for a long time. And then after we're done, he was like, get in the ring. You're about to fight me. And mind you, that was the first coach again. The guy that was like, yo, hey, yeah, like, you know, you guys are all fighting today. This dude was like 6'4", 6'5". Like, you know, mind you, I'm like 5'11", 5'10", and everything like that. And, you know, he's a pretty brolic dude, so his whole mentality is like I could tell, like, you know, after him I've had other boxing coaches similar but not quite as, you know, wild with it, but basically, so he made me fight him, and like, you know, he's whomping me, and he's like, he told me, I'm gassed out already too, like I'm gone. And like it was so bad. I'm imagining myself outside of the ring, dude. Like I'm in my mental, I'm like I'm gonna get to go home at some point, and that's gonna be great. Take a shower. Like I'm just going through all this stuff, and like he hit me again, and like I just like kind of like fall, and I remember him saying like, "Are you dead?" It's like, no. He was like, "Then fight." Or like, and it was just like, and when I say that to you right now, it sounds so simple, but if you look at it in life, in every aspect of your life, if you're not dead, you're able to fight.
Yeah.
So fight.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Don't wait to die. Don't wait and think that things are so bad that it'll never get better. Fight.
Yeah.
Because the other alternative is just to lay there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna consume you anyway at some point. So you might as well just give it a shot till you can't no more.
Right.
Keep giving it a damn shot. That's it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It's not rocket science to it. You might have somebody Gary Vee it to you, like, you know what I mean, and make more sense than what that just said. You might have somebody Socrates it out, make some shit rhyme, like you might J. Cole it up, or you could just really take that for what the base value is. If you're not dead, fight.
Yeah.
If you're not dead, you're expected to live.
Yeah.
You can lay by a graveyard all you want to. If you're not dead, somebody's going to tell you to get the hell up and get the hell out of here. Mm-hmm. Continue living because you're in the land of the living. Mm-hmm. So go make it count.
Yeah.
And that mind state of boxing, and hopefully I'm not just ranting and I'm actually answering the question that you asked, because I know I can do that. But that mind state has helped me not just in boxing, but throughout my life. Yeah. Now it's just go after what you want. Yeah. You might not have all the right punches combinations. You might come up against an opponent that's bigger than you, better than you, but go fight. Mm-hmm. Go fight. Like, you know what I mean? Just go. You know what I mean? And it's just, you don't know what could come out of it, because literally after that guy told me that, the crazy dude, you know, after he told me that, he was very proud of me, because like I literally took every piece of energy I had in me and anger and hit him with a 3-piece combo. And he was like, whoa, I didn't know you had that in you still. Right. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know either, but him saying that triggered something in me. Yeah. So, you know,
out of that, it seems like you were trading one thing for the other. Because out of that, you sort of became inspired. Like I remember one of the fights I went to, leading up to the fight, because we were training, as a matter of fact, leading up to that fight, because you were coming down in weight. Yeah. Because you were like 185, and you came all the way down to 155.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was terrible.
But great.
That was terrible. So we came down in weight and going into that, and then at the last minute, the fighter backed out. Yeah. Got scared and backed out. Yeah. And I remember you being so frustrated. And you still fought. They still found you a fighter. And you fought. You know what I mean? But to see you come out of that, you came out of that. I don't know that you were the same person. You know what I mean? No, you weren't. You weren't the same person, because I think for me, like in my travel or whatever, something happened where I was moving a lot and I didn't see you for a while. And then when I came back and I saw you, you were like, yeah, you know, I'm in school. I was like, really? You were like, yeah, I'm in school. What are you in school for? I'm in school for screenplay writing. I was like, wow, that's a big jump. Yeah. You know what I mean? However, though, it made a lot of sense to me because you have a story to tell, you know what I mean? And you've gone through some stuff, but I don't want to go there yet. I do want to go here. I want to ask you about your therapy. Like, how has that benefited you? Because you talked about unpacking all this stuff, right? And that in and of itself is a process. Yeah. So how has that process benefited you? Like, what's that look like for you?
It looks like, for just to put it into terms or terminology or like something that somebody can take from what I'm gonna say next, is it looks like somebody putting a movie about you up in your face, and you get to actually see what your life was from an outside point of view. If that doesn't make sense, it's like, basically, let's say you were drunk and you actually went to a stage where you blacked out. And then your friends the next day was like, dude, you were doing this, and this. And you're like, what? For real? That's kind of what therapy is for somebody at times, I think, because it's like, the thing is, you're not drunk, but you went through life not knowing what the hell it was that you were kind of experiencing, because no one gave it a name. No one understood exactly what you were going through, maybe in your peer group. And then somebody sits there and explains it to you. Like, no, that was not good that happened to you. And whatever your mom said that was trying to coerce and make you feel just okay about it wasn't correct either. And you're like, oh shit, like really? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like an awakening to knowing that, and you know, some things, like I said, somebody might be like, well, you know, I would have known that anyway. And that's true. There's some obvious ones, but then there's some other things that you unpack. It's like, yeah, maybe I was a little too hard on myself as a child, like really trying to process something like that. Can be a thing too, like, you know what I mean, where you didn't process something totally correct, and it's not like a fault on you, but it's kind of like you can learn new ways of thinking about certain things that have happened, and you know, that are maybe more healthy than the way you thought before. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we can sit there and think of something from such a macho standpoint that it's like, yeah, just get over it. Who cares? Whatever. That shit happened. Whatever. You know, I ain't a bitch. I'll be fine. Like, you know what I mean? And you are like, I get that. But at the same time, you do have to look at certain things a certain way to, you know, process it like better. Like, you know, hey, yeah, I wasn't no bitch right there, but at the same time, me punching that guy in the face couldn't have been like some displaced anger. I was really upset at my life at the time, and why was I upset? And can I do better than that? Like, you know what I mean? Can I look at that a different way? Can I calm myself down? Do a dude stepping on my shoes really wants to equal me going to jail? Like, you know what I mean? Right. Just, you know, just kind of processing it a little different, like, you know, so, or some of your hangups, like, I had a thing the other day I was talking to about, in the sense of where I thought people would approach me negatively for handing them a flyer for the fashion show, like the fashion show with Nerdz and Hip Hop put on. And I was just kind of like, I expected that, because I felt like I was like, you know, messing with their personal space to talk to them about it and everything like that. And she was just like, so what was the experience? Did anything negative happen anytime that you done that? And I was like, nah. She was like, well, then it's not really warranted. Like, that's kind of like you, you know, you're putting yourself in a situation that hasn't even become yet. Now, if that happened a lot of times, then I would get why you would, you know, feel that way, because that has been a reality for you. But if that's not, you're contributing to an issue that has never happened, and you could think about that more positively than negatively, because you've had a more positive experience with that. And I was like, damn, yeah, you're right. You know?
No, that's true. Especially, you know what, when you've had those, when you've had to deal with the other side, you know, because you have interacted with people and it has gone sour, especially if it happens enough times. Yeah. I think that, yeah, it would make sense that a person would probably start to expect that. Like, if they go and interact with somebody, or you're in somebody's space, or if you see that a lot. One thing I will tell you I've realized too is, and just as in my interaction with people, whether it's professionally, people just in general, if I'm coaching or mentoring or whatever, people play on what they see on social media, and they make that real for them, not realizing that that's entertainment. So in a similar situation, they will handle it as they've seen it handled in the video, which is kind of weird to me. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like role play.
Yeah.
But they take it on and they make it real for themselves. When in reality, it's like, nah, that's not real. It's not real.
Yeah.
You know, when you mentioned, you know, approaching people with a flyer and being in their space and things of that nature. If you think about it from an entrepreneur standpoint, right? You got to be a go-getter.
Yeah.
And so you really can't think about how people are going to receive you. The best thing you can do is be approachable, have a smile, come with great energy and enthusiasm, talk very highly about what it is that you do, right? And you're offering them this opportunity to have this amazing experience in this community that you've created, who is putting on this show. And these are the great things or the great benefits that you're going to, you know what I mean, walk away with from attending, participating, or just showing up. Matter of fact, we're going to have some great food. We're going to have some amazing food, some incredible fashion, some vendors there that are going to just be out of this world, things like that. But she's right. It's not real, man. It's not real.
Yeah.